All right. So today we're going to talk about what is full timing. What's this crazy thing that we're doing? Um, as you can tell, it's just me and not Carenza. She is joining us in spirit in the chat. She's stuck in Pittsburgh now. She's supposed to arrive here tonight on a plane, but the plane was broken. So it's just me and she's there. Yeah, there she is. She's in the comments. So we are Brandon and Carenza. This is RV to Freedom. This is the page we created to help you guys learn about how to live in an RV. We have been on the road for 4 years now. January 8th, we'll be starting our 5th year full timing. And this is our second RV. We had a diesel RV before. Now we're in a gas RV. We keep going smaller because that's our path. But as you'll see, full-time RVing is whatever you want it to be and however you want to do it. So I see Kelly's here. Steve and Nancy Pace are here. Where's everyone coming to us from? I'm in Phoenix right now, and Krentz is on the other side of the country in Pittsburgh. Let's bring up the comments here. So we're full-timers. Like I said, we've been full-time for 4 years. We started full-timing because we did a lot of road trips, and we just enjoyed being on the road. We realized that's when we were happiest, and we decided, we had a small pop-up camper that we took out to campgrounds, and we saw all the big RVs around us and thought, hey, maybe we could live in one of those. And we took the leap 4 years ago, and now we're here trying to help everybody else not make some of the same mistakes we did, and hopefully learn from our experiences and the experiences of our friends. So like Steve's in Illinois, we got Beth in Minnesota, Kelly's in Palm Desert, California. That's not too far from me. And Alan's in Florida. That's probably the farthest from me right now, but a good place to be in the wintertime. So as we've done all this, we've learned that there's a lot of people that full-time. Most people think it's retirees that, you've cashed out, you sell the house, live in an RV, and travel the country. And that still is the majority of people that full-time. But there's also families on the road. There's working age full-timers like Krentz and myself. There's solo full-timers, male and female. So we've pretty much met every walk of life full-timing. And people full-time for different reasons. Some people full-time as a less expensive way to live rather than renting or buying a house. They full-time in an RV park, and they still live a fairly normal life, except they live in an RV instead of a house. Other people full-time to travel. That's our big motivation, is to full-time so that we can go see everything we can see. And after 4 years, there's still so much left to see and so many cool places we haven't been. Like we haven't been to Yosemite, which is most people's first year. That's where they hit, but we still haven't made it there. Trying to find a time when the weather and the crowds cooperate. And then you have some people that they full-time just to try to look for a new place to live. And it's a great way to try on a city. You can go out there, you can live in a city for a month or 2 months or 3 months. It's so much better than, flying into the city over a weekend and trying to find somewhere to rent and hoping you find the right neighborhood for you. We have military members. They full-time because as they get moved from post to post, it's an easy way to take their life with them. And it's a nice way to save money. You've got people that full-time for work, so they'll travel from job to job in their RV. There's a lot of traveling nurses. There's a lot of oil field workers, a lot of construction work. They all full-time. And, full-time, what does that mean? From our point of view, if you full-time half the year, you're basically full-time. I mean, if you live and rely on an RV for a good long period of time, then you have all the same issues that full-timers have. The insurance companies say if it's more than 6 months, then you're a full-timer. And we have friends who are full-timers, but they still own a cabin or something that they go back to in the wintertime or summertime. Neil made a great comment. A lot of people are work campers too. So that's work camping is a huge topic. Basically, any kind of working you're doing from your RV is technically work camping, but a lot of people think of it as you work for the RV park. So here in the park I'm in now, there's camp hosts, and they're all work campers. So they get a free site. They may get, free firewood. Sometimes they get paid. Sometimes if you're a couple, one person will get paid and one person will earn a free site. So you can, it can be a nice way to save money. Hey, there's Tammy. She's still in Baja, I think. And we've got David from Florida too. So yeah, basically anybody that you can think of is full-timing. We know families where they've got, 3 kids and a cat in an RV. Tammy that joined is, solo female, and everything in between. Just looking. Okay. What's really great about full-time RVing is it lets you travel to a new place and kind of live like a local. So rather than coming in on vacation and exhausting yourself, hitting all the tourist traps with all the other tourists and paying a lot of money and standing in a lot of lines, you can come in at a more leisurely pace. You can stay as long as you like, and you can act more like a local. You can, try out things. You're under no pressure to get your money's worth. Like, sometimes when you go like on a Disney vacation, you've paid so much, you feel like you have to squeeze every penny out of it. And you leave your vacation more exhausted than you were when you started there. And the whole point of a vacation is to relax. So living in the RV, traveling by RV to places just makes all that more relaxing. You don't have to cram everything into a few days. You can just go, enjoy the sunsets, hang out, enjoy sunrises if you're into that sort of thing. I'm not really, more of a sunset collector. You can hang out on the weekends. You can slow down and, kind of interact with daily life of regular people when you travel to new places. But there's some great things about it. If you work from your RV, you don't have to interact with the daily life of sitting in rush hour traffic and commuting to work. So that's kind of nice. You also get to see new things, and there's a lot of places that you may want to go that are difficult to go if you don't have an RV. We spent some time in the redwood forests of Northern California, and it's beautiful and it's awesome, but it's hard to get to. So if you were to take a vacation there, you may fly in. It might be a 4 or 5 hour flight to get close. Then you'll have to rent a car, and you might blow another, few hours driving to the northern parts of California. Sorry, the northern parts of California. And, you've burned maybe a day or two of your vacation on each end just trying to get to this spot. So then what do people do? They tend to go on easy vacations, somewhere you can fly right in and you can be there. Problem is, everybody tends to do that, and they all tend to do it at the same time in the summer, spring break, over the holidays. And so you end up in having your vacation right on top of everybody else's. So the RV, again, it makes it great that you can go to these places that you may never get to otherwise, and you can take your time. You can do it when other people aren't around, and it just makes nice, makes things nice. You can also, travel. I mentioned it a couple of times, but you can travel more slowly. You're in no hurry. You can stay as long as you want. A lot of new full-timers, they've had this idea of vacation built up in their head so much that when they hit the road, they'll do 20,000 miles the first year, just zipping all over the country and staying for 3 days at a time, because in their mind, a vacation is short. You do it and then you move back to work. People tend to slow down over time and, not go as far, not travel so much, and just kind of hang out and relax, because most of that stuff's still going to be there when you get there. So that just makes it a lot easier, a lot nicer. We have found for us personally that 1 to 2 weeks in a spot is about right. 2 weeks seems to be our sweet spot, because 2 weeks gives us enough time that we can get our work done that we need to do, but it also gives us a full weekend in a site. So we can, any activities are going on during the weekend, we can check those out. So that's what works for us. But what's cool about RVing is there's no right way or wrong way to do it. Whatever you want to do is what you can do. And that's what the RV is great for. I mean, if we want to move every day, we can. If we want to sit still for 3 months, we can do that too. We have a ton of flexibility. And, you know, on our path, we actually started slower because we read some things about everybody moving too fast. So we thought what we're going to do is monthly stays everywhere. So we would stay 1 month at a time and live in a place, and then we would move. What we found for us is that was too slow, and we were getting itchy feet or hitch itch or a bunch of other funny terms you can come up with. And so we started moving a little quicker. But the first year or two was all about the Florida Keys, Colorado, California coast, all these places we wanted to go and never were able to get there. And we did it. We had a blast. But then along the way, we started meeting people. And we meet different people at different places, and one person would introduce you to another person, and eventually you kind of find your people. And then travel is kind of morphed into going places we want to go, but mostly because there's people there we know. Like this area we're in right now, we have some friends that are right over in the park, a few sites away. And that's how it's changed for us. We've changed from, you know, kind of perpetual vacationers to wanting to meet up with other like-minded people, because RVing is weird. We don't commute like people do. Holidays aren't really that important anymore. Like, you know, as far as, oh, I got a 3-day weekend, I need to go camping. We're always camping. So that's not such a big deal. So, you know, we kind of get a little separated from regular people. Also, consumerism isn't as big a deal because we have all the things we need in our RV, and we don't have room to put more stuff in here. So we can't really, you know, go shopping. Like Black Friday is not a big deal unless you need some specific RV thing. Then you try to go find it. But most of my friends are, you know, they're joking online right now about, yeah, I saved 100% by not buying anything on Black Friday because it's just not something we do. What we tend to do instead of collecting things is collecting experiences. So it's, you know, where's the coolest place you've been, or, you know, where are you going to go this year, or, you know, what's your greatest memory? And that's how RV kind of changes you. So, you know, we're going to get into another one of these live talks where we talk about shopping for an RV. But, sorry, I got a note here. It's difficult to shop for an RV if you're not an RVer, because if you're coming from a house or an apartment, you're used to a certain amount of space. You're used to having to stick a lot of stuff in that space. And the thought of living in a smaller space is a little scary. And it seems like, you know, you're not going to fit, you're going to kill each other. I don't know how this is going to work. But once you get on the road and the road starts to change you, you realize you don't need all the things you thought you needed. There was a joke in the comments today about me taking a shower because we've been boondocking a lot. And so I used to be shower every single day. And now it's like, okay, you know, when I have water, and today was shower day, so you're in luck. Yeah, and Kim commented, 1 in, 1 out. Yeah, the RV is small, so when you get something new, you got to throw something out. And a lot of you are talking about downsizing in the group. Getting rid of stuff. Krentz and I are talking about that too. Still 4 years in, we're still trying to get rid of stuff. And I know Kelly here, she's huge at getting rid of stuff. She's always getting rid of stuff. I think she probably lives on 200 pounds of things in her RV. So if any of you guys are RVers and this stuff is resonating with you, you know, give us a thumbs up on the video so we can see. I think we got a good handful of RVers in the group today, in the chat. Yeah, Robert just said he downsized to a casita from a 26-foot RV. And I'm sure when he started that, you know, that 26-foot RV seemed small. And now the casita seems fine. And we were the same way. We started with the 40-foot RV. Now we're in a 30-foot. And the 30-foot was so scary because it was so small. But now we're like, this is too big. We can go smaller if we want to. But again, like RVing, it's yours. You do it how you want to do it. If you want the space, get the space. If you want to go small, go small. If you want to go fast, go fast. If you want to go slow, go slow. It's not a competition. It's not a, I can do it on less money, or I can do it in a bigger RV or a smaller one. It's all about you and making sure that you do what you want to do and buy the RV that fits you and live the life you want to live. That's why we named the group RV to Freedom. For us, it's all about freedom. We're free to do what we want, to pay what we want, and live how we want it. Except I don't have a garage anymore. So just reading some of the comments here. Yeah, Nancy is shedding the stuff in there. Sticks and bricks still. Sticks and bricks, that's another one that you'll hear a lot in the Facebook groups. And that means in your house or apartment. So that's typically called sticks and bricks. And I kind of joke when I see the weekend vacationers come in, I call them stick people because they live in sticks and bricks. So Beth has a question about new versus used RVs. They're both good and they're both bad. And that's not a good answer. So if you buy used, you're assuming you're buying someone's used RV and it's going to have issues. But the used RV has already taken a large depreciation, and you hope the previous owner took care of it. And if it's got some miles on it, then you assume that things should be working because they've used it. Buying new is not like buying a car. If you buy a car, you drive it off the lot, it has a good warranty, and you pretty much assume that this car is going to be fairly trouble-free for 3 to 5 years, and it should just work. And that's because cars are, the machinery is automated, there's a lot of standards in them. An RV, I like to say that they're built good enough, and that's it. They're just built good enough and no more. So the chassis, the engine, and the drivetrain and everything, that comes from a major manufacturer like Ford or Fleetwood and Cummins, from the big guys. And that's going to be built on an assembly line and pretty much as reliable as your car is. But the house is basically a mobile home. It's a manufactured home. It's built to be just as strong as it needs to be and no stronger, and sometimes not even strong enough. So when you buy a new RV, you may end up taking it in for service for what they call the shakedown period. So for the first year, you're just So for the first year, you're just taking it into warranty. So they can both be good or bad. It's really hard. The best thing to do is get an inspection on a used one if you're going to buy one. So just to talk about some of our highlights, I mentioned it briefly, but we started traveling, just Krenza and I and our 2 dogs and our cat, and it was just us for a long time. And we did the things we wanted to do, and it was fine. We were fine with each other, and so it was totally cool. But then we started meeting people, and that changed what we do. So now that we're a few years into this, we're kind of really settled into RVing. We tend to go where people we know are going to be. We go back to places we've been before, and we see so much more that we haven't seen. And then we also get to see places we just never thought about. One of the places that surprised the heck out of me was South Dakota. South Dakota, in my mind, it was going to be a few tourist traps and cornfields, and it's got tourist traps, but it was really awesome. And it was one of my favorite places that we've been so far, and one of the places we'll definitely go back to. Colorado was the same way. Colorado pretty much is everything you see in the pictures. It's pretty hard to take a bad picture in Colorado because it's just so scenic, but it's become one of our favorite places to circle back to. And then Vermont, we stayed in Vermont in the summer, and that was, again, one of our great places that we've been. And so it's kind of funny when people ask us, where's your favorite place? And we'll usually ask them, like, well, what time of year is it? Because Vermont in the summer, Colorado in the spring and fall, the desert in the winter time, there's just so many great places in the country. So that's kind of, where we come from in full-time RVing. The biggest thing we want to get across with it is that it's different for everybody, and there's a lot of ways you can do it. And what's great is you can kind of do all the ways. Like we've gone from resort RV parks to boondocking to casino camping. Pretty much, any kind of camping we want to do, we'll drive our motorhome out there as long as there's not too many trees. Just reading some of the comments again here. Oh yeah, Jonathan noticed that the South heat and humidity was not on that list. The Florida Keys are again one of our favorite places, but they're so far to get to. So like it takes a whole day's drive to get down there. And I grew up in Georgia. So to me, that's like my backyard. It's all pine trees and the same, and I'm used to it. So to me, the desert is my favorite. I've, up until the last few years, I've never experienced the desert. And last night there was coyotes howling outside the window, and I'm in an RV park, and that's amazing to me. And I know people that grow up on the West Coast, they think it's all dry and there's no life and no beauty, and they want to go to the east where they can see the trees. So that's how it is. Rick asked, what is casino camping? It is camping in a casino parking lot. Most of the casinos will allow you to camp in their parking lot for free because they want you to come in and donate money to the casino. And even a lot of the casinos will give you bonuses for opening a Players Club card. So there's one in Florida that gives you $30 bonus. We've heard of one in Tennessee that gives you $50. We stayed at the one in Florida. We got the $30 bonus. We went to the slot machine, used it the correct amount of times, and cashed out $35. So then we went to the restaurant and gave it back to them. But they basically paid us to camp there. So it's a great way to do it. Again, in Northern California, there's a lot of casinos up there. So you can basically bounce from casino to casino and not pay anybody for camping. Just you have to have the willpower not to donate too much to the casino. And Alaska is another great one. Bob just mentioned, we have a ton of friends that have gone to Alaska, and that's another thing that, as a normal person, a stick and brick person, that's a hard trip to make. You can do a cruise and you can look at the coast of Alaska. You can drive up there in a car, but it's just hard. You got to arrange all the living accommodations and everything. And the RV, I mean, it's hard on an RV. The roads aren't great, but it can totally be done, and you can get way out there, and you can really take it in and live as close to an Alaska local as you can. You can go to the bars they go to. You can talk to people. You're not in a hurry, to catch a flight and get out of there. You just got to watch for the what they call the termination dust, and that's the snow on the mountains. Once that hits, you better head south. So we're going to talk about some more things and some other topics that we're going to do. This is the first in a series of live programs we're going to do. So we thought we'd just start with basic, what is full-timing? And basically it's living in an RV. That's the easy answer. And there's lots of ways you can do it. But we're going to talk about other things. We're going to get into, how do we get our mail as full-timers? Where does our driver's license say we're from, and license plates and all of that. We're also going to talk about the cost of full-time RVing. And that's one of these things that you can get a lot of weird information on the internet. There's a lot of people who can full-time RV extremely cheaply. And there's a lot of people that can full-time RV and spend as much money as they have. And it's going to come down to basically, how do you live now? Do you go out to eat? Do you go out to bars? Do you want to stay in nice hotels when you travel? Do you have a nice car and all that stuff? Well, then you're going to cost more. Do you cook at home more often? Do you like to do more free activities like hiking? Are you okay with living off grid at some points? Then you can cost less. And it really becomes a balance of what you're willing to pay. What is nice about RVing is with the right setup, you can control that. So we are not the lowest end, but we're definitely not the highest end. We're kind of to the middle, maybe middle low. What's nice for us is if we want to go to the Keys where it's expensive, we can pay for that. But then we can offset that by boondocking, which is camping for free off grid, and offset that cost. So then, over the course of the year, we can average it all out. The RV you choose is also going to come into how much this costs. We're in a motorhome, which kind of has the highest cost of ownership because the insurance and registration fees are higher. The gas mileage is really bad. If you get into like a travel trailer with a small truck, then your cost of ownership goes way down because the trailer itself, the insurance is very low, the registration is very low, your fuel economy of your truck should still be pretty good. So there's some trade-offs you can do to control cost. One of the other things we hear a lot about is this worry about, is it safe? Is it safe to full time? And yes, it's no more dangerous than regular life. I would even think it's safer, with the exception of you're on the highway a lot. But you're not commuting every single day like most people are. So even still, you may not be out in the worst parts of the day. In a campground, again, you're still going to have mostly retirees around, and they're watching out. Everybody's kind of watching for everybody, making sure that, everything looks good and no one looks suspicious. So in a campground, I rarely feel unsafe. And off-grid, because we do a lot of off-grid camping, again, at first, it's very weird. At first, you're out in the pitch black dark with your RV by yourself, and it's scary. But do you need to be scared? That's the question. And I don't think so. There's a lot of animals out there, and you'll hear them, but they don't want to mess with you. And there's not really people out there that want to mess with you. There's, the crime is mostly crimes of opportunity. And in a neighborhood where there's a lot of houses sitting still with nice stuff in them, that's a great target. One random RV off by itself out in the woods or out in the desert may not even have anything good in it anyway. Probably got some old crazy person like me in it with an axe. And so people just don't mess with them. So the biggest thief we run into is a raccoon. They will steal your trash and steal your food, and sometimes black bears in Colorado. Someone did ask about our RV. We started with a 40-foot diesel pusher. So we had one of the big guys with the 4 slides, and it was great. And it was super comfortable, and it was perfect. But a lot of our friends camp off grid, and they do it in smaller RVs. And we just felt like this wasn't right for us. We decided we wanted to move more often. We wanted to be a little more nimble because a big 40-foot RV pulling a car is a pretty long rig. So we decided to go down to a 30-foot gas RV. So now we have a Newmar Baystar, and I call it like a baby Newmar because it's a little tiny 30-foot guy. But we have a queen-size bed and got everything we need in it, and it's fine. It tows our SUV just perfectly, so we're happy with it. I could totally see going smaller. And then maybe at some point, way down the road when we switch gears, we might go to a 5th wheel, go to something more residential that's a little bit bigger, and maybe we don't move as much. But, it's interesting how this changes you and you start to, evolve and do things differently. I'm a lot different than I used to be. Let's see, what other comments do we have here? Let's see, I was looking for a question here that I missed it. So Kelly asked where I am. I think I am in Phoenix, Arizona. We're at Lost Dutchman State Park, which is a really pretty state park. I'm actually staying in the side with no hookups because it's a little bit cheaper. So we're doing this whole live thing on solar power right now. There's Mark. Mark was asking about what RVs we've owned and why. Prior to the motorhome, we had a pop-up. And the pop-up we took out for weekend trips. And so when we went to FullTiming, we lived in a 1,000 square foot apartment near New York City. And we just thought, we liked Airstreams. They were cool looking. We liked some of the smaller stuff, but it all felt too cramped. I mean, I'm 6'2". I'm not a small guy. And, I was right next to the ceiling, and And so when we saw this 40-foot RV, we were just like, that's what we need. We need all this space because we must have space. Everything, you know, because that's your life. You know, you need, your house must be big and everything's got to be big. But when you start driving around a big house, things change, and you want to, you know, I wanted something more nimble, something easier to get around, something I didn't worry about so much when I drive it off road. I was actually driving this one off road the other day, which I really shouldn't do, but you know, sometimes we have to. So yeah, John said, no kidding about everyone watching. Yeah, if he comes out, goes and sits out with a beer, everybody's looking at him. Yeah, I mean, everybody's watching in RV parks. You should be totally fine. Justin had a question about extended warranties. Are they worth it? Yes, I think so, depending. We bought one on our first RV. We had a diesel RV, and a diesel engine, when it fails, if it fails, is very expensive to repair. So I bought it because I didn't know how to repair it. I know the parts are heavy. I know it's expensive. And we had a part fail and it covered it. So it worked out for us. When we sold the RV, we canceled the warranty and we got a prorated refund. So we made out all right. Now this RV is gas. It's a Ford V10 engine, which is like one of their most common engines. And all the parts are fairly normal. And I can work on most everything unless it's just something I can't physically lift. So I think in this case, we didn't buy one, and I don't think I'd buy one on a trailer. So, you know, they can be worth it, but not always. And we will have a time, we're going to do another live where we talk about shopping for an RV, and we'll get into extended warranties a little more detailed, and new versus used and all that cool stuff. So that'll be coming up very soon. Gary asked, what kind of satellite system do I have? We do not have a satellite. We have a TV antenna and we have unlimited internet. So we watch all the TV through Hulu, Netflix, or Amazon Prime, or we watch local channels, but really we don't watch a ton of TV. We used to watch every single news show that came out. But now if we're not inside working, we're usually outside exploring because, you know, like I said, we travel fairly often, a week to 2 weeks at a time. So there's always something new to check out. Just look through the comments one more time here. Yeah, so Kimberly in the group, she's a traveling nurse. So she's one of those, you know, travels for work from place to place. And Charlie Parker asked about food storage. How long between grocery shopping? It really depends on how long you can make your little fridge last. We'll go every couple of weeks, but again, we're moving every couple of weeks, so it's not a big deal to load up. We also eat out more than we need to, so we need to stop that. But otherwise, that's generally, you know, our information about what is full timing. We did put together like a little glossary to help you guys when you're in the Facebook groups, when people are throwing around terms like sticks and bricks and boondocking and things like that. So if you go to go.rvtofreedom.com/glossary, you can download the glossary, and I'm pasting it in the comments now. That'll also, you can also from that link get on our mailing list. So when we do more lives like this, you'll get notified of them right away. You'll know what's going on. And we're going to be doing these every week for the next few weeks at least. And we've also got, you've probably heard about it, we have our roadmap to full-time RVing course that we've designed and put together to help people figure out how to get on the road and live full-time and how to shop for an RV. And all these questions you're asking about, basically, they're in there. So that will be launching very, very soon. So again, get on the list and you'll know when it's happening. And Krenza just posted it a whole bunch of time. Does anybody have any more questions? Kelly asked, are we retired or working? We work too much, but yeah, we work on the road. Krenza and I were both product designers. I design watches, and she designs eyewear. That's what we did up until recently. We've started a marketing company where we do marketing for the RV industry and the travel industry. And you know, just like most RVers, we hustle and work as little as we can, but enough to make sure everything's taken care of. Just checking out the comments one more time before I leave you guys. Does anybody else have any more questions they want to get out real quick? So David had a, oh, sorry. I'll get to David's question. Jen's, where did I get my new shirt? This is a Bass Pro shirt. Since I'm working on my axes, I decided I'm going to dress like a lumberjack now. David asked about boondocking and can we explain our solar use? We will do more in depth on solar, and we'll actually post a link here that shows our solar setup. But basically, we have enough solar that we can go, you know, as long as the sun's out, we can go indefinitely. We can't run our air conditioners, and for 99% of people, you're not going to run your air conditioner from a solar system. But otherwise, we live fairly normally. I got a big light on. I got an external monitor. I got a computer running. I got lights in here. This is all running off the batteries right now. And Gary asked, what kind of Wi-Fi system do we have? We are just using the little Verizon hotspot for all of our internet. We will be getting a WeBoost, a Wilson booster, because as we're getting off grid in some weirder places, we just need a little more connectivity. We don't use any sort of campground Wi-Fi. Campground Wi-Fi is pretty much a joke. Almost nowhere is any good unless you want to walk with your computer up to the office. But since we work online, we need to have our own. So we use a Verizon unlimited data plan. And RV Mobile Internet is a great source for that. Justin has a question about guns. We don't have any. Or maybe we do. I'm not going to tell you. I'm just kidding. But yeah, people do. There's a lot of laws, especially with handguns, as you travel from state to state or even city to city. Some municipalities are very strict. So it's really on you as a gun owner to understand those laws as you move around. There are some apps out there. There's a Legal Heat, I believe, is one of them that's supposed to be pretty good. But since I don't own one, I don't really do a lot of research. I do know long guns are easier to deal with than handguns, but we haven't felt like we've needed one. You know, I grew up in Georgia, so I like them. I like to go clay shooting and stuff, but I haven't felt like I needed one for, you know, for safety reasons at all. Alrighty. Kat says it must be cold. Yeah, it's getting down to 60 tonight, so I put on my flannel. John, okay, this is a great question from John. How hard was it to take the plunge, move out of the sticks and bricks and hit the road? It was scary. It was unlike anything we've ever done. And honestly, like, I'm the handy guy. I'm the one that keeps the RV moving. For the first 3 months, I did not want to leave the campground. I wanted to stay still. I didn't want to put the slides in. I was afraid everything was going to break. And it really took me a good 6 to 8 months before I was comfortable and just, you know, just kind of rolled with it. And now it's like, it's no big deal. You know, I whip this RV in and out of everywhere. Living in an RV is totally normal to me. And when I see people living in houses and like you go to the same place every day, you get up in the morning and you drive away and then you come back and you're always there, that's weird to me now. So it's a little scary. It's a life change. It's a big life change. It's like nothing you've ever done. And so kind of Band-Aid off is a little scary. And health insurance is a big deal. And, you know, we have to buy our own health insurance because we're self-employed and it is expensive and it is a tricky one. There is a nationwide plan from Florida, Florida Blue this year that's pretty good. So that's pretty much the only nationwide plan that's available still. Let's see. Yeah, Mark is actually asking. Yeah, the Verizon hotspot, it can stream our TV. It's streaming this live video right now. I watch Netflix every night. It's a bit ridiculous, but I Netflix and Hulu and Xfinity through our parents' account. So we have tons of internet. Jerry asked, how do we find where to stay? It's basically Campendium is our favorite resource. We also know them. Free campsites is a great resource if you're looking for free campsites. We met them too the other day. And a lot of it's friends, and use the group like this. If you are going somewhere or you're traveling through an area, post it in the group. Any recommendations along the way. I mean, we found a site in South Dakota that we wouldn't have known about, but some of our friends mentioned it, and we found it, and they showed it to us, and we showed it to someone else, and it's actually the cover photo for the group, that picture of our RV overlooking the cliff. So ask in the group. That's a great place to find sites. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it. Kimberly asked, how much do we use normally on internet? We use right around 100 gigabytes a month on internet, and we have an old grandfather plan that you really can't get anymore, so we get a really good rate on it. But RV Mobile Internet is the site to go to that keeps up with all the plans. So yeah, just one more time, go.rvtofreedom.com. You can grab our glossary there. You can get on the mailing list. You can know when everything cool is coming up. But from here, we're going to do more talks. We'll have a talk about shopping for an RV. We'll have a talk about domicile. We're going to put out a list real soon with a schedule of what we're going to talk about when, so that you'll make sure you catch the live videos. And we'll also put up recordings afterwards. So stay tuned, and there'll be lots of cool stuff coming. All right, guys, I'll see you later. And I'm glad you guys like our pillows. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this replay of our Facebook Live show.
Join our Facebook community to participate in the live shows and learn how to live in an RV.
Go to rvtofreedomgroup.com to join the RV to Freedom Facebook group.
And to be notified about our next live videos and more, sign up with the link provided below in the video description.
We want to help you find your RV to freedom.